Does anybody else feel that the current season seems to be one of the most energetic, interesting, and overall incredible years in the NBA's recent history? As I mentioned in my previous video, the youngins are completely taking over the league, but the past generation of superstars are not going to back down. This year's playoffs are going to be straight awesome. Imagine seeing LeBron and the veteran squad clashing in the finals with a young team like the Chicago Bulls or Atlanta Hawks, or the reigning champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, taking the torch from the king. One thing is certain, this NBA season will be historic and as unpredictable as possible. And not only due to the positive stuff, the current situation in the world dictates how the game of basketball is played. And if you follow my channel, then you already know about the controversy surrounding Kyrie Irving and his inability to play with the Brooklyn Nets at the moment. This situation has spawned a number of different career destinations for Irving. And today, we will talk about one of the most possible scenarios. In this video, we'll analyze the potential Kyrie Irving to the Los Angeles Clippers trade. Also, I'd really like to hear your opinion, as I'm very curious about what you, my dear subscribers, NBA fans, and just passing by viewers, think about the league's future. Now, grab some snacks, get yourself comfortable, and enjoy this video. But before that, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell to get updates on our latest NBA content. Alright, let's keep rolling. At the time of writing, the Los Angeles Clippers have a 3-4 record, but have struggled to start the season. The Brooklyn Nets are in a pretty similar circumstance as of now, lacking one of their main superstars and still figuring things out with a 5-3 record. This is the primary reason for the emergence of trade proposals, such as the one we will discuss today. This move would really make sense, at least on paper, so let's take a look at the possible trade packages. Swartz from the Bleacher Report devised a game-changing trade that would allow the Clippers to acquire Irving from the Nets before the 2022 NBA trade deadline. The Clippers would send the Nets a package that included Eric Bledsoe, Luke Kennard, Keon Johnson, a 2028 first-round pick, and second-round picks in 2022, 23, 24, and 25 in exchange for Irving and Javon Carter in the proposed trade scenario. I'll start with the obvious. The trade is problematic. Why? It's simple. The first reason, there's no guarantee that Kyrie will play. Even in the event he gets traded to the Clippers, while Los Angeles has joined New York and San Francisco in having severe mandate regulations, the new law does not apply to Staples Center, which means Irving can play in all home and away games regardless of whether he's vaccinated or not. But we all know good old Kyrie. What if he continues his stance and tries to push forward his message? We can't know for sure, but at the end of the day, it's his decision. The only thing the Nets and the Clippers should do in this case is to ensure that Irving will play with the potential future team. And even if Irving agrees, we can't know whether he will fit the Clippers scheme or not. However, there are actually some indicators that Kyrie could find a new home in Los Angeles, with the first one being the fact that the coach with whom he won the championship, Tyronn Lue, is the head coach of the Clippers at the moment. The second factor is that Kyrie Irving's friend, Paul George, is also currently with the LA team. Considering those two facts, I can assume that a trade to the Clippers doesn't seem that nonsensical after all. The Brooklyn Nets might still hope for Kyrie playing for their team, and Irving's stance is still unclear. We don't know whether Kyrie is waiting for the mandates to be lifted or if he's looking to see if he can force a trade to the team he wants to play with in the future. The third option is still viable. What if Irving is about to retire? Sure, he openly said on his Instagram live stream, "Don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate." The comment might seem pretty definitive, but let one fact sink in. One of the latest reports by FS1's Nick Wright suggests that there were several Irving trades, but Kyrie's agents have made it clear that the point guard would retire if traded from Brooklyn. What can that mean? It might be a signal that Kyrie is open to play basketball, although he is probably looking for a better deal, or he 100% wants to stay with the Nets. The future will tell. Now, let's talk about something more grounded. What about the value the Clippers get? Oh, in case Kyrie and the Nets agree to make this deal with the Clippers, the LA squad will get a lot of value. A kind of talent like Kyrie is very rare, and there's probably not a single team in the entire NBA that wouldn't like to get Irving, except maybe the Boston Celtics. Regardless of his unwillingness to get the shot, Irving would be a fantastic addition to the Clippers. After dealing for Bledsoe, the Clippers fulfilled Kawhi Leonard's request, but the Claw would undoubtedly be delighted if they got a point guard of Irving's skill. Irving would be a significant improvement over Bledsoe. Irving, in addition to being an excellent playmaker, would provide the Clippers both a prolific scorer and an outstanding three-point shooter. Last season, he averaged 26.9 points, 4.8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.4 steals while shooting 50.6% from the field and 40.2% from beyond the arc, according to ESPN. This way, the Los Angeles Clippers will form a big three of their own: Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Kyrie Irving. Wow, this squad really looks like a complete unit. Also, we should consider the fact that Paul George is absolutely balling at this moment, putting up MVP caliber numbers and leading the Kawhi-less Clippers squad on his back. If they manage to make this deal and Irving's decisions don't interfere, the Clippers will be a major championship threat, even without Kawhi Leonard. Now, what are the positives for the Brooklyn Nets in this scenario? Long story short, the Nets will receive immediate assistance, increasing their championship chances even further. Kyrie is obviously great, but at the moment, he's like a fine piece of cake that everyone wants to eat, but it's too expensive. Now, by the word expensive, I don't necessarily mean actual money. With Kyrie, you can hurt your team's chemistry, championship chances, and eventually time, something the Nets don't have. James Harden has had a rough start and is slowly making his way back to the shape he was in the previous season. As of now, I can't really think of a way how Kyrie can actually return playing, as it's obvious that the mandates are not going anywhere anytime soon. So, the help of Eric Bledsoe, Luke Kennard, and Keon Johnson would be exactly what the Nets need. Sure, this trade package isn't adequate for a player of Irving's level, but it is probably the best the Nets can get at the moment. The suggested blockbuster deal would be worth considering for the Nets if the situation with Irving escalates and becomes a huge distraction for the team during the 2021-22 NBA season. By dealing him to Los Angeles, the Nets would get a healthy point guard with playoff experience in Bledsoe, a sharpshooter in Kennard, a brilliant prospect in Johnson, and many future draft picks. Bledsoe isn't as excellent as Irving, but as long as he avoids injury, he'll be able to cover the void that Irving would leave in the Nets' backcourt. So, I'd like to hear your opinion on this potential trade and what you think about it. Do you think that Kyrie Irving is a great fit for the LA Clippers? Do you think that the Nets should keep Kyrie? Do you think that Kyrie Irving will retire? Tell us what you think in the comments down below. And once again, make sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button to catch up with the best NBA content. If you like this video, make sure to watch my other videos about recent NBA news. Thanks for watching.